Keeping your commitments. Recently, I was called out on Discord for not sticking to my weekly video schedule. I'm looking at you, Amar, and that nice, clean-shaved face. You ain't lasting that long in prison. And thought to myself, what an appropriate subject to cover. So here are 3 tips and tricks to sticking to your commitments. Tip number 1. Get involved in communities of some kind and make sure to list your commitments publicly, because after a while, someone is gonna call you out, and social pressure will force you to finish your video on time. Tip number 2. Set achievable commitments. While it's great to push yourself, you want to set commitments that are realistic. For instance, don't commit to being able to bench press 300 pounds in a day when you haven't even cleared 125 yet. If the goal is too big, break it down into smaller commitments. Recently, I started spending a lot of my time on this much bigger project. I'll share more details on that later. But despite the huge project, I did make a commitment to do weekly videos here. And there really isn't a reason I can't break my huge project into weekly smaller videos, probably in a lesson plus update fashion. So here's to putting this step into practice. Tip number 3. Create systems that enable you to fulfill your commitments within a specific time frame. Parkinson's law, the pursuit of progress, states that you will always fill in whatever time frame you have to complete a specific project. So if you say you are going to take a week to finish a project, you'll take the whole week, even if you only needed a few days to do it. That said, set your scope and time frame accordingly. Within that time frame, you want to create a system or routine that lets you effectively leverage that time to complete your project. My system looks something like this. First, I brainstorm ideas or draw inspiration from something that happened to me. Next, I brainstorm my main points. I write them down. Flesh out the script, ensuring that the content lands. Then I record the audio, add music, and add any extra sound effects. List extra graphic assets that I will need to create later. Then I do a lip sync and then position the character in relation to those extra objects. After that, I draw any of the extra graphic assets I need, then compile everything into a single video. Finally, I upload everything and do any of the upload related things such as the title, description, and thumbnail. This process is step by step and easy to follow. At that point, it's just a matter of execution. You can, of course, go further and place deadlines on all these steps, but since I was called out, the timeline was kinda no. Since the video is due this Monday, which is what you're watching right now. Special shout out to Amar for calling me out, and I appreciate all of you guys, and I'll see you next time.